When the word Bakosi is mentioned, one might think of the food aid during the economic woes of the mid-2000s and foodstuffs like bauga springing up to mind. But the Bakosi we speak of today is something completely different. This is an online service that is cost-effective and efficient, and they do doorstep deliveries in a few taps.
So the idea with this is that, they want to make life easier, more convenient. E-commerce is where the world is going. So you want to use Bakosi, you want to get to know who they are, you want to use the ease of doing business from home or from wherever you are in the world and just be able to send something to your loved one.
Food prices in Zimbabwe climbed 980.4% in April of 2020 after having jumped 807.3% in the previous month. The country has been struggling with food shortages amid a poor harvest due to prolonged droughts. The recent plague of the desert locust and the novel coronavirus are already proving to be the biggest threats to the country's national food supply. Stacked against other merchants such as supermarkets, wholesalers and bus imports, Bakosi proved to not only be an excellent alternative but a safe and convenient one. Since July 2019, Bakosi has had over 500 app downloads and registration. Buy groceries for your loved ones from almost every continent in the world. Services are in the USA, UAE, Australia, United Kingdom, China, South Africa, and of course, Zimbabwe.
So you're a Bakosi supporter, Bakosi user. Tell me your experience with them.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I really hold dear to me is when I started using this app, it came at a time when I really needed it because it was, I think, a day before Christmas, like just a day before Christmas, where you couldn't buy anything, shops are closed. And then my mother sent me a message from Harare. She lives in Harare back home. And she said, you know what? This Christmas, things are really bad. We don't have anything. There's nothing.
Oh
now
my God.
I was anxious and paranoid. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then she told me about the app. And she was like, a friend of mine told me about this app. You could just try it. And I was like, so fast.
Chop. Yeah.
By 12 a.m. the very next day.
You're kidding
me.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Bagaj got coleslaw, rice, chicken.
Oxtail.
I love it. Like they've got a full range of things.
When people think grocery, we think flour, we don't think about things like a chicken or pork chop. You want to spoil them a bit. I mean, it was Christmas, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Bakosi yakandibatsira a lot because sometimes I really had to, like, it's difficult kuti munhu amhanye awane zvinhu zvese ka1 and with my exchange rates nechichi unenge uchida kuedza calculate kuti which is better. So ndikaona Bakosi price avo they are really good. Then after ndatumira like my brother and my sister ndazona maybe an auntie nanani they can get as well.
But tell me, how did you ever find out about Bakosi? How did you hear of them the first time?
Ndaimbotumira mari kune mufana and my sister. Pamwe pacho vaizoti zvakati zvashota because maprice tazochinja mari what. Saka ndakaenda paGoogle, then I checked, ndakatarisa online stores in Zimbabwe.
Not even word of mouth. Kutongo secha and then you saw Bakosi.
Yeah. For me now, ndakutorifera vanhu and then munotry Bakosi. Because when I went on their website, right out of the application, then I went on the application. It's way easier because there was one website yandakamboita online shop iri kuZimbabwe. Wakatenga zvinhu zvako and uchitenga. You cannot search zvinhu uchizwana easy. But Bakosi is zvese unozwana, then mukati mako zvinenge zviri muendo. Everything was smooth.
Oh, that's dope. And which payment method are you using?
I use a credit card. I need to pay faster because it's from South Africa.
Fast.
I just use my debit card,
The things that you've bought, everything arrives. Everything you would have got, everything you would have selected, no problems.
No problems at all. Even time yacho, the first day in Ansanda Jaira, so I had to communicate now. That time there were some problems. Nema Getsi. So the thing is, wait out an hour and they'll tell you we're having this problem, but to go and deliver, and they deliver.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience with Bakosi. We are in a world of e-commerce right now. Are you impressed by what they have put forward?
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing is that they are quite available to attend to any problems. Every time that I've hit them up, if I can't process my order online, they've come up with a solution within the hour. Or when I've asked them where my order is, they've come back to me and given me feedback. Our transport is doing this, the police are doing this, and they just keep you up to date with what's happening with your orders. And that's all as a customer that you want. Sometimes with big businesses, they've put their call centers in Philippines or in India, and you can't talk to somebody. I just want to pay and move on.
But how are you, and how's Cape Town?
I'm alright. Cape Town, Cape Town, you get you don't really know what the day is going to be like. You wake up, it's cloudy, then in the middle of the day, it's sunny.
It's like 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which part of Cape Town are you in?
I stay in Claremont.
Oh, lovely. Okay. And how many times have you used it? When did you start using it?
I started, I think it was just after he launched it, or it was launched. It was in October last year, I think. So that's the first time I used it. And I use it quite often. I try to buy from there every month to send groceries back home. Yeah.
Well, firstly, you're a really great son, okay, that you do that. Let me ask you though, it's interesting that you chose to use Bakosi when you're based in South Africa and you could have just found it, Anna, where would Joburg, even though you're in Cape Town. Oita shopping yako to South Africa or Tumira. What made you choose Bakosi? Is their pricing also reasonable?
Prior to Bakosi launching, right? I never trusted sending goods with someone else, to Zim. I would have rather waited till December time when I'm going back, then I go to a few items. If not, maybe send some money. But it kind of makes sense now. Quite fortunate that I personally know the founders and stuff. It's just convenient, and the reliability of it. That's why I chose to use Bakosi, yeah.
And how are your parents finding it as the recipients? I mean, do they find it reliable?
They definitely love it. Because when I buy, I don't even have to tell them, okay, expect this order or whatever. Okay, sometimes I have to ask, is someone available at home to accept the goods and stuff? But I just order the stuff without them knowing. Next day, they just say, oh, thanks, we received the goods and stuff. So,
that's nice. Yeah. And for your mom, I mean, she's a woman. I'd love to hear from her to say, are they, in terms of groceries, women are so fussy when they pick their things.
I know.
But so she's not complained?
She hasn't complained. I don't think she'll be. I don't know. My mom is not the type to complain anyway, even if she's not really, satisfied with the goods. But I'm sure she is. She would say something is wrong.
Would have said.
So that I don't buy it next time. But I'm sure she's definitely happy.
Yeah, and then in terms of comparison of Bakosi with other online platforms, I mean, you're based in Cape Town. Where would you peg Bakosi in terms of international standards and how well they're doing?
I'm a person who shops online a lot, and I understand Bakosi just started off. But if I am to compare them to other platforms, for example, here in South Africa we have Take A Lot. Well, Take A Lot has a vast variety of goods, but looking at Bakosi comparing to Take A Lot, I mean, it's amazing to have such a service in Zimbabwe. It's just amazing.
That's good. Anything else as a recommendation or anything?
Bakosi is covering most of the goods that one would need in a house.
Sure.
So I don't think I would ask for anything else. For me, I don't think it's about what you were doing. It's about why you were doing it. And he thought about it. He was this side once, and sure, he understood the struggle of thinking of people back at home and struggle they're going through. Then he was like, oh, okay, there's a gap here. I can be the mode where people can just buy stuff easily for the people back home. And yeah.
Download Bakosi online today on Google Play Store or on Apple Store, or visit bakosi.com to have access to great value products at competitive prices.